let's see. We're live. All right, well, good morning, or maybe it's noon where you are now, but I'm here in New York City. Welcome to Gentle Flow and Meditation with with Mindful Michael. I'm Mindful Michael, and so I'm gonna hang tight. We have class starting. I'm here a little bit early because I like to be early. And for those who are watching this video later, I thought I'd take some time to hang out and introduce myself. If you want to fast forward a little bit to the class, some things that you can go ahead and be gathering for yourself. I have at least one yoga block. If you don't have a yoga block, I don't want you to stress about it. You can very well just use like some big books, So, or if you have like a little coffee table nearby, anything that lets you put your hand on for support. That's the goal. So I also have a folded blanket nearby just because I have sensitive knees. We're going to be low to the ground today and chill. So I will be doing using the folded blanket for some padding for that. So yeah, so I'm going to hang tight and make sure that everything looks good on my end here. Get in touch with my intel. Boom, boom, boom. All right, well, I'm very early. Confirming with Todd that this is in fact working. Let's see, because I think we're sharing out the social media stuff, and yeah, I'm very early. I still have like 4 minutes before we even need to get started with class, but why not, right? So great, excellent, cool. All right. So hi, welcome in. Welcome to Gentle Flow and Meditation with Mindful Michael. We're gonna get started here in a couple minutes. I've reviewed for everyone who is coming in. I reviewed at the top of the video the couple props that I have with me, just for your reference. I do have some yoga blocks nearby. I like to have that for support. It's not a requirement. I will give you ways to modify without the blocks. Great, thanks Todd, awesome. And I also have a folded blanket for my knees because I like to have a little cushion for my knees because I pushed the envelope in life and it's coming back to haunt me now. I'm excited for today. This will all be about getting the body to open up. It's our first time flowing together. So for most of you, so I think this will be a nice time to do kind of a basic feel-good flow. Jez, if you're watching, I was watching the end of your video and I was giggling because I live here in New York City and my neighbor above me, it sounded like she was taking your class, and I didn't realize it until I tuned in at the end there. But yeah, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Mindful Michael. I am a yoga, meditation, and spin instructor here in New York City. And it's been an interesting journey to be here in New York. I like living here in New York. I'm also an astrologer, a tarot reader, and a Reiki healer. And I pride myself on being somebody who, I know a little bit too much, on being somebody who studies how to keep your center, how to keep your energetic and emotional and mental and physical center in a really chaotic environment. And so then when I move into environments that are a little less chaotic, we can do some really powerful, deep work. So that's what I do here in New York City. And yeah, it's me living my passion and my truth and all that. So I'll plug myself at the top of this and at the end, I'm sure too, but if you're interested in getting a birth chart reading with me or a tarot reading with me or working with me one-on-one on yoga and meditation, you can find me on Instagram at mindfulmichael, all one word. And you can also check out my website, mindful-michael.com. And I got a little cool things going on. I will say for you Arizona area folks, I do have quite a few clients who are nagging at me to do a retreat out in your area. So maybe this winter I'll have some fun things planned. We'll see. But yeah, so I'm gonna give it another minute or two before we get started. I recognize it's only, not even 12 just yet where y'all are. It's 3 p.m. here, so I'm ready to have my siesta and wind down. But I came to the practice of yoga because I realized that it's all about getting your breath in your body and your focus all on the same page, and that is the rest that you are looking for when you are wanting something like a siesta, when you're wanting something like a break in your day, and you can get really intentional and get the most bang for your buck. And that's what I love about yoga. So we're gonna get started in a minute. I will say, so the meditation portion of our class today is gonna be it'll just be a relaxing scan through the body. We're practicing and building our way up to, eventually I'm gonna be working with y'all on something called Yoga Nidra, which is a beautiful, deep meditation. And it takes some building up to. It's powerfully restorative. One of the yoga specialties that I have is something called restorative trance yoga. And let me tell you, it sounds it is just as good as it sounds, if not better. So yeah. So welcome to those who are just coming in the room. My name is Mindful Michael, and you are here for gentle flow and meditation. And welcome in. So today's class is going to be an open flow. For those of you who are brand spanking new to yoga, welcome in. I want you to have patience with yourself and go slow. Remember, at any point I believe you can pause the video or suspend, or at the very least, recognize that, like, you know what? It's just a little moving and breathing, and you can take it at your own pace. I do love to offer modifications. It's one of my specialties. And yeah, I will be doing that along the way. So for those of you who have just come in the room, props that I have nearby, I do have a folded blanket for some padding for my knees as we work. My intention is not to break a sweat by any means, but you might breathe heavy for like a couple minutes, not all together. Just cut up and separate it. But I also have some yoga blocks nearby. So this is a great way to expand your practice. If you're somebody who is really wanting to really use this time to get into yoga, I recommend this investment. Having two around can like revolutionize your life. They make great drink coasters when you want to sit on the floor. And they're great for your practice. So I want to give it one more minute and then we'll get started. Make sure that you, if you are in a colder room or a colder environment right now, it's worth having some sweatpants on, maybe some long socks, something that's gonna keep you warm. And yeah, so let's actually begin with a nice neck and shoulder and jaw stretch. So I'm gonna set this back a little bit. I'm gonna be doing quite a few little changing of the angles. But we'll come to sit nice and tall. So if you are somebody who needs to sit on top of something, I have a little cushion underneath me, and that is letting me be nice and lifted. My hips are higher than my knees in space, and that's how I get that nice tall spine. I think I'm a little crooked tilted, or maybe that's just me. So from here, we're gonna start to open up the body just a little. If you've been sitting all day kind of working here, welcome in. Here's your rest from that. You're gonna take the hands behind the hips. You're gonna interlace them, and you're gonna squeeze the palms together. So you're gonna roll the heart open, big inhale, send the knuckles back and down. So I'm sitting super tall and I'm relaxed through the center of my chest. I'm long through the back of my neck. So from here, I'm gonna bend my left elbow, put both hands on the right hip. Right here, you're sitting nice and tall. Big inhale, shoulders up by the ears. Or shoulders down away from the ears. I knew I said that wrong. And then when you're ready, right ear falls towards right shoulder. So you're leaning the ear towards the side where your hands are. So notice the stretch along the side of the neck. You're gonna start to move the head forward and back, just moving that stretch a little bit in different parts of the neck, feeling how you can start to open things up. You're consciously relaxing the left side of the jaw, the left side of the eyes, the left nostril, nice and easy. Maybe if you want, you can turn the chin down towards the shoulder. This will move the stretch towards the back of the neck. I can sometimes feel this all the way up behind my left eye. So notice if you're clenching in the jaw, if those tension points fill back in, can you consciously relax and let that go? From here, chin falls down towards the chest. Release the hands, they come to the lap. Inhale, shoulders up by the ears, reach tall. As you exhale, let yourself settle down. Feel that lift right up the top of your head. So from here, take the hands behind the hips. This time, interlace the other thumb on top. And you're gonna bend the right arm. Both hands come to the left hip. Press strong, sit tall, big breath. As you exhale, ease the left ear towards the left shoulder, long behind the neck. Or long on the side of the neck. You're gonna start to move the head forward and back. Just releasing that excess tension. Everything that you might have gathered in your day so far, those stressors, you can set them aside. And when you're ready, maybe you turn the chin down towards the shoulder, letting the stretch move into the back of the neck. Notice if you get to a point where it's too much and you can't release. I want you to think of all those points in your body where you lose heat. Think of relaxing those places, the soles of the feet, the hands, the top of the head, all the muscles along the scalp. Let those soften. It gets the tension out. Let the chin fall back towards the chest. Release the hands. They come to the lap, shoulders up by the ears. Big breath. As you exhale, shoulders down. All right, so last thing before we get cooking. Interlace the hands in front of the heart space like you're holding a big beach ball. Shoulders are up, back, and down, so you're nice and lifted through the heart. So from here, I'm gonna show you from the side. I'm gonna exhale, and as I do that, I'm pulling my beach ball bigger, my elbows apart from each other like my beach ball's inflating. Heart goes through the shoulder blades. I'm long behind the neck, long behind the tailbone. Feeling that space I create behind my shoulder blades, it starts to pull them apart the more tension I have here. And from there, I can start to move the hands a little side to side, just moving the stretch in different places. Sometimes I can even move one ear towards one shoulder, creating space. Making sure that you're breathing and the jaw isn't clenching. Maybe you start to let the hand drop down towards the lap, feeling how that moves the stretch down the shoulder blades. And when you're ready to release that, gently inhale, shoulders up by the ears, sit tall. And as you exhale, let's settle all that down the spine. And what do you say? We get to flowing, shall we? So let's get all this out of our way. We're coming to child's pose to start. I'm gonna do one final camera angle move and then I'll come join you. So as you come to settle on your mat, it's interesting, if you were in tap with Jez just now, she said something really lovely. She was talking about when you're improvising in a tap class and how when you're in that improvisational, here, I need to switch my angle one more time. Let me get this just right. So when you're in that state of improvising in anything, when you're waiting to get into the flow, when you're a surfer waiting for the wave, you gotta keep your own groove with what's going on. You have to maintain that. So in yoga, I want you to think of your breath as how you maintain that groove. So let's settle in, shall we? Your knees are nice and wide, the toes are touching, and you're gonna bring the heart forward, you're bowing in. So name of the game in this is to let yourself soften fully into the earth with each exhale. If you have the folded blanket, you might have it under the knees here, or maybe you have it behind the knees here. If you are sensitive in the knee space, this can help out so much. So let yourself soften in. I don't think that I'm gonna take that away, but let yourself be. So while you're here, I want you to relax in the low belly and feel all the weight of that. It lets your breath spill in and out effortlessly. So start to feel how your exhales melt you wide in all directions. And feel your body weight double into the earth. Start to let the thighs, the hips unravel a bit. When you're ready with a big inhale, walk the hands over to the right side edge of the mat. As you exhale, the left hip crease gets heavy and you use that space out of the left side of the body. So if you come to my class regularly, you'll find that we start class this way pretty often. It's a beautiful way to open up and get settled in. It's all about taking care of the spine as we get started. Take a big inhale, walk yourself through center, over to the left, feel that space you create. The right hip crease gets heavy, you get that space out the right side of the waist. Your breath stretches out the space between each rib, feel that expansion. And as you exhale, feel how that space is turned back over to you and you can lengthen even more. Walk yourself back to center, big inhale. Nice and easy, soften, exhale. From here, flip the palms to face the ceiling. Your hands are wide on either side of the mat. You're lengthening out a middle finger, ring finger, pinky finger, drawing shoulders back and down. And breathe into the shoulder space. Feel how something opens up from inside the armpits, all the way out, relaxing through the hands. And if there's anything happening in your day, your week, your month, that is a little bit distracting and pulling your mind from your practice right now, I want you to see it in the palms of your hands. And for the next 40-ish minutes or so, I want you to see it lifted, no longer an issue. See, they're coming to take it away, and it will be back for you when you're done and you finish this class, I promise. So take a big inhale in. As you exhale, soak the palms back down into the mat. Inhale, pick on up. We're coming to hands and knees, so I want you to really take a moment, make sure your knees are directly below the hips, hands are directly below the shoulders. I want to see the rectangle of your shoulders and hips reflected in your base of support on the mat. From here, your inhale's heavy in the belly. It sends you into that cow. As you exhale, press the hands, get to the cat. Wide behind the shoulder blades, long out of crown and tail. The pace of your breath, your own rhythm decides. Remember, hang out in your own groove. Inhale, exhales. So feel how you lengthen out of the end points of your spine, out of crown and tail. That's what deepens the curvature. Maybe you're able to get to the point where the body and the movement is so in sync that the body and breath start to move themselves and you get to be the passenger and sort of enjoy the ride. It's really lovely when you get to that point of surrender. or whatever. When you're ready, you're gonna start to get into the side body, scooping the rib cage around. I want you to feel like your spine is a jump rope, feeling how you can get into the side body with this, starting to get the creaks and cracks out of the spine. You can be big with this if you'd like, or you can be little and muted, whatever your body's needing today. And maybe when you're ready, you switch directions. Be luxurious with this, because this is the best thing you could do for your spine in the whole wide world. Even if you find places that are sticky, maybe you pause and breathe into them. Use your breath to create new space. And when you're ready, I want you to go free form with this. So start to let the spine move any way it desires. Maybe you close your eyes. Maybe you shift your hips around, your shoulders out past your hands. And so I want to say something right now for some of my beginning yogis. You're going to keep moving with this in any direction you want. I can't see you. You can see me, so I can make a fool. You don't have to worry about it, right? You just do you and feel free and open. So from here, I want you to consider, if you're somebody whose wrists get really fatigued, if you're kind of new to yoga, or maybe it's a deterrent because that tends to be an issue for you, two things I have. First, we got to build strength in that. You need to press with your full hand. If you tend to cup, I want that full hand activated, particularly your peace fingers, strong into the mat. Then, once you get to that point where your strength has finished and now you're getting into just pure fatigue, I want you to roll the front edge up of your mat and create this little bar for you. It's a nice cushion for the palms of your hands, helps you press strong and start to build the strength beyond where it is now. Okay, so maybe you're really sick of this movement. I want you to let it peter out and feel a nice floating sensation at the top of your flat back. I want you to feel how you widen in all directions in the back body, like a trampoline, and that helps gather the core up and in. So this is the most active we'll be. You're gonna tuck the toes under and you're gonna hover the knees 1 inch. You wanna think of this rectangle as expanding in all directions. That should make you light, and notice you're still breathing even though you're using your core. When you're ready, you're gonna reach nice and long to a long plank. From here, we're gonna control ourselves all the way down. You can lower the knees if you need, always in my class, please. The elbows are in tight and you lower nice and easy. From here, untuck the toes. You're relaxed through the legs, heavy through the feet. I don't want you to see you picking this up, right? I mean, I wouldn't see it, but if I imagine you picking it up, maybe you are, and stop. So from here, shoulders on the back, elbows pin in. Feel how that opening lifts you up for the lightest cobra. Big inhale. This is effortless. Exhale, lengthen to lower down. One more of those. Feel how it's about assembling. Keep the shoulders pinned in. That will rock you back to lengthen out. Again, lifeless back there. Lengthen to lower down. From here, inhale, pick up the hips. Knees are wide, toes touch, child's pose, bow in. From here, inhale, walk the hands over right side. Exhale, get heavy through the left hip. Breath to expand. Exhale to melt. Inhale, walk yourself through center, over to the left side. As you exhale, nice and easy, heavy through the hip. Breath to expand. Exhale. All right, inhale, walk yourself back to center. And soften here. So here it comes, the downward dog. Pick up the hips, tuck the toes, let yourself find the down dog. So let's talk my philosophy here, because everybody's got a different one. I want you pedaling through the feet. Enjoy your time with this before you're ready to settle. Chances are it's the first down dog of your day, and if it isn't, kudos and gold stars to you. But from here, I want you to enjoy how you can sit into one hip versus the other. You can really let the knees cross the midline. You're asking the body to do a lot opening here for this moment. And when you're ready to settle into your down dog, full hand is pressing. I'm gonna bend in my knees because my hamstrings are tight. So I'm really reaching my sits bones to the corner of the wall and ceiling. Think if you were inside this screen, you wanna try to get your bum to touch that part, that button that hangs up your phone. So right there, I'm trying to reach up to that. Oh, there, I got it, boom. So I have that little bend. From here, big breath up through my hands into my hips. As I exhale, soften down the backs of the legs. So from here, you're gonna start to pedal through the feet. You're gonna take your time and enjoy. And then as you start to pedal, you're walking your feet in towards your hands. When you get to the top of your mat, you're gonna have your feet hip width apart. There's a bend in your knees and you're in the forward fold. You're hanging, relax behind the neck and soften. From here, you hook the elbows. Again, my knees are soft, so my heart's resting on the thighs. I give a little tiny sway. I'm enjoying that. And I'm rooted down through my heels into the floor. From here, I'm gonna release my elbows. I'm gonna shake my head no. I'm gonna nod my head yes. I'm gonna roll it around maybe so. And from here, I'm gonna leave the frame for a minute, but I'm gonna bend in my knees. I'm rooting through my tailbone and I'm pressing through my feet to slowly rolling up. You take 3 breaths to rise. Inhaling into the back of the heart. Exhaling down through the hips and heels. Inhaling into the back of the neck. Exhaling down through the body. When you reach the top, you're gonna take an inhale, shoulders up by the ears, big breath in. As you exhale, let it settle down. From here, hands come to heart center, feet melt. Let's do my favorite, chair pose, so you can see my face. And it's also called power pose or fierce pose. It says that in the textbooks. So from here, I want you to look down. Make sure your knees are not going past your toes. If you can't see your toes because the knees are in the way, stick your booty out behind you, squeeze the glutes, and zip up. This is the little heat we use to stretch. As you exhale, take your forward fold, bow over. From here, inhale, halfway lift. So I'm using that flat back. I do have a bend in my knees if my hamstrings are tight and require it. I'm going for the length of my torso and pressing my feet into the earth. As I exhale, forward fold, bow. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to your plank, lower the knees if you need it, and lower all the way down onto the mat. Untuck the toes, lightest cobra, shoulders on the back, elbows pin in, lighten up. Lengthen to lower down. From here, pick up the hips, inhale. Exhale into child's pose, nice and easy. Take a breath here. And exhale. So here's the deal. We'll come to child's pose probably one more time with the intention to rest. Other than that, if you at any point need a break in this and you want to have a place to stop, this is where you come to. Child's pose is so restorative and beneficial. It helps you come back to center. That's why it's child's pose. So last thing we do before we leave it, you're making little tents with your palms like this, and you're pressing the fingertips down into the mat. You're reaching the tops of the hands to the front of the room. Shoulders down and back, press the fingertips. It starts to pull the shoulder blades away from each other, and you start to open something out in the lower band of the upper back. So kind of a place that tends to get pretty tight. You're long behind the neck, lengthening the spine as you go. And as you exhale, soak the palms down into the mat. From here, inhale, pick up the hips, tuck the toes. Let's take our down dog. When we get there, we'll pedal to settle. Again, taking that bend in the knees. So take a moment, peek up at your hips. Make sure that the feet are in line with each individual hip. You don't want it any wider or narrower, so use that visual. When you're ready, take your 3 breaths. Big inhale up through the hands, into the hips. Exhale down the backs of the legs. I think of spinning my inner thighs towards the wall behind me. It opens the outside edge. Exhaling. Last breath cycle here. And as you exhale, you're going to start to pedal through the feet. Make it nice and chill, nice and easy, and hang out in the forward fold. From here, you're going to take a nice inhale, halfway lift, flat back. From here, we're going to start moving on with what we've got. You're going to plant the hands, step the right foot back to a nice, easy lunge. Hang out for a minute. If this is a little tight for you, breathe and relax the jaw. And then, when it's good, you lower the back knee down, untuck the toe. You're going to come on up for what I call 90-90, because you have a 90 degree, a 90 degree, 90 degree. And as you hands will come to the hips, I want you to think of hugging the hip bones towards each other. Feel how that zips up the core. It gets you really tall. As you exhale, I want you to send the tailbone down. Think of having your suspenders on from your low abs, from your hips, and settle into the front of your hip stretch. So your exhale guides you. Inhale, gather into lift. As you exhale, hands can come to the thigh or stay on hips. So let the body tell you when to stop. If you go at the pace of your breath, inhaling to rise, exhaling to deepen the stretch, it's like massaging the muscle from the inside of the body. So you're gonna get a lot more space out of it as then you realize, because it's almost like the massage therapist knows just how light to be and just how to ease into that deeper tension for you, because you are the massage therapist. Last one. As you exhale, let yourself soften here. You take the hands high overhead, feel the length out of the toes, out of the fingertips, relax the shoulders down. Feel that length, inhale. As you exhale, hands come to frame the front foot. So this is where you might like blocks. I like to have at least 1 or maybe 2. You can have 1 for each hand. I take it on the highest setting. I'm shifting my hips back. I'm flexing in my front foot. I'm going to lengthen out my hamstring for the runner's hamstring stretch, nice and chill. So I do have a bend in my knees still. If you have tight hamstrings, but you're straight and your spine is rounded and your neck is crunched, you're not stretching your hamstring anymore. You're stretching your back in all the wrong places. So keep the bend in the knees so you can contain the stretch. You're focusing on having a nice, big, open heart. That's why we have the blocks. If you're without it and you're like this, I need you to back out of the stretch or bend the knee just that little bit so you can invite the length where it belongs. Again, these are a great investment. Staying nice and lifted, breathing, feeling how you are lengthening all the way up through this hip. As you exhale, you're gonna re-bend this front knee, plant it flat in the foot, lose the blocks, and here's the deal. That back shin, you're gonna spin it to be parallel with the short edge of your mat. You're coming up for what I call Peter Pan pose, my personal fave. So I'm lifted nice and tall, and I'm facing the right side of my mat. Here's the deal. Straighten out this front right or front left leg. The top of my foot is super relaxed. I'm thinking of reaching my toes like tree roots into the ground. Take your right hand at the back of the mat. Take the left hand nice and long. Your stargazer pose. So this is all about the lower half of the body, the earthbound part of the body here. I'm long out of my hip and my armpit, so this long side of the waist is open, but I'm pressing down into the earth with my right side body. That's what's giving me the stretch through my left. I'm thinking of peeking out from underneath this top arm so I can get a little sunlight on my face. Avoiding cutting off my breath at any point. Then from here, you're gonna bend at the waist. You're sitting the hips back towards that right heel. You're coming to sit. Top arm swings in front of you. So now I'm facing the front of my mat. That one's a little zhuzhed of a transition, but lengthening out the left leg. I've got my right leg in butterfly, if that feels good. The foot on the inside edge of the leg. Reach the right arm nice and tall. So I'm focused on sitting as tall as I can. If that's hard for me because of my knee needing to bend, guess what? I bend my knee so then I can have that comfortable reach. From here, my arms reach out in front of me. I go as far as I can. When I can't reach anymore, that's when I'm allowed to relax over. But here's the deal. The minute you start to feel like the back of your neck is pinched, you have to back out. You've gone too far. You need this open space. I have something that I tell my classes here in New York. I say that your hamstring is a lot like your friend Becky. And now I want you to know that Becky's completely inspired by me, but Becky is that introverted friend. Becky doesn't like to go out to big, loud bars. If you call Becky from like the loud, raging club, she's not gonna come meet you. But if you start at like the quiet speakeasy with the chill conversation and things are a little quieter, maybe some jazz, Becky will come. And once she's at the speakeasy, you can get her to the club. So think of it this way. Don't go to the club. Becky doesn't like that. Start at the speakeasy. Be easy and open. It should be relaxed for her. Becky will come to that party, and then you can soften. Food for thought. So from here, I want you to take the hands, interlace them. The heels of the hands are going to start to massage the top of your quad. So you're taking them into sort of pinch along. You can even get the outside edge of your IT band. It's all about giving yourself opportunities for some ease. The hands have that power to them that you can do that. I will say also inside quarantine, your body is a lot more likely to hang on to emotional stuff. So it's important to be doing more of this self-care variety things, especially the things that involve you offering your own body touch. You start to get touch deprived and things like this. So sit up nice and tall. You're gonna bring this right knee back in, the foot is flat. You're lengthened tall through the spine. So if you are breathing for 2, if you are pregnant or maybe you think you are pregnant, you're going to be careful with this. You're not going to move your foot, and you're going to take the open twist. So we'll get there. If you're fine and it's just you in there, take the foot to the outside edge of your left leg, and you're going to use the left arm to sit super tall, hugging the knee in. I want both hips on the earth. Now remember, breathing for 2, you're looking over the left shoulder, nice and lifted through the spine. If it's just you, you twist over to the right. Both hips on the earth, lifted tall. So your inhale inflates the tall spine. As you exhale, it deepens the twist. The twist stays between the hips and the shoulders, so you're rinsing your core out like a rag. It drains everything out. Gently let yourself come back to center. If you weren't at the open twist, take the open twist. Wide across the collarbones. I think very regal and open with this. Lifted, driving down into the earth with my spinal column. As I exhale, return back to center. The foot comes back to its own side. Both legs lengthen. Feel that reach tall. I have the bend in my knees if I need it. I'm reaching out of heels and out of hips for this lift. When you're ready, you're going to reach out in front of you as far as you can. When you can't go anymore, let yourself soften for a moment and feel the difference between the two sides from what we've done. Now, what all did we do even? We're going to do all the other side of that. So when you're ready, inhale, sit up tall. You're going to cross the ankles, taking the nice easy seated position, plant the hands, and find your way to that cat and cow. So taking the nice easy tabletop, inhale, sinks low. Exhale, belly button to spine, finding that cat. Just letting things release. And from here, we are going to do a full chaturanga series. So if the chaturanga through to the upward dog and downward dog is too much, you can take that easy cobra we did the first time through to child's pose. So from here, I want you to find that nice long plank. I'm pressing strong through the balls of my feet. I'm long out of my entire back body, and I feel that powerful reach. From here, I'm going to keep my elbows pinned in. I'm going to lower down knees, chest and chin. I'm going to grow long out of the top of my head over the tops of my feet to my upward dog, pressing my hands, shoulders down to the back of my heart, lifting and pulling up through the quads. Then take the down dog, feeling the lift up and back, pressing strong. Nice and chill. Inhaling, exhaling. You're going to pedal the feet in towards the hands. Take your time. And this is our last round of real anything that's super active. Inhale for the halfway lift, flat back. You're going to plant the hands and step the left foot back to the lunge this time, hanging out nice and easy. You might even do some forward and back moments just to help the body open. And then when it feels good, you lower the back knee down, untuck the toes, come on up for that 90-90, hands on hips. So I want you to feel like your hips and legs work like a pair of scissors. You're suctioning in the hip bones together. That gets the blades of the scissors tight together so they can cut. Your inner thighs have that gift, that lift, and as you exhale, send into the front of the hips, softening. You can keep the hands on hips to feel that gathering or not, but don't let it splay open. Big inhale, gathering into lift. Exhale, softening. Big inhale. Feeling the suspenders, like you have a pair of suspenders, the low abs. Draw the hip tips up towards the face so you're supported. Last one, big inhale here. As you exhale, find the length of your crescent pose. So lengthen out of fingertips, lengthen out of the toes. Feel that gathering in that lift. And as you exhale, hands come to frame the front foot. Shift the hips back for the hamstring stretch. Use the blocks if you've got them. I think they're wonderful. So there are a lot of yogis kind of have stipulations about using blocks at first. They see it as some sort of crutch or added helper like training wheels, but in reality, it's a powerful way to expand your practice. It gets you into proper alignment more often than not. It helps you access the pose truly because everybody has different proportions and these poses are affected by that. So, feeling the length, I'm still flexing strong through this ankle. Feeling this go all the way up through the back of my hip. Again, I'm still nice and open and lifted because Becky's not coming to the club yet. She's meeting me at the speakeasy. I'll trick her and take her to the club later. She'll have great times, I promise. When you're ready, you rebend the knee, plant the foot, lose the blocks. Plant the hands strong. You're going to spin the back shin to be parallel with the short edge of your mat. And you find Peter Pan facing the left side of your mat this time. So lengthen out the right leg. Again, the top of the foot is melted, reaching the toes down into the earth. Think of reaching like roots. From here, left hand to the back of the mat. Right arm lengthens out behind you for your stargazer. It's about pressing strong into the earth with the earthbound limbs, feeling how this lengthens this whole stripe of the body. Keeping length out of the left side of the waist and armpit, feeling all this opening down through here. Can you get that expansion? And the ease of breath. From here, you're going to start to sit the hip back towards the heel, swing the top arm forward, and you'll come to sit. We're going to take a Janushirasana, so lengthen out your right leg, left leg's in butterfly. Lengthening out of both arms, reaching tall. Take the reach out in front of you, keeping the spine long, and when it feels good, let yourself soften in, remembering not to hold and pinch. Be easy and open. Relaxing across the forehead, the eyebrows, the ears, the jaw. Let it all drain. Let it all be nice and chill. So feel how on your inhales, it's almost like a wave on sand. Your inhales lengthen the spine as your exhales. It allows a releasing, a deepening, but you do feel this sort of inhale, it gathers. It almost feels like the wave going back out to shore. And you get a little further onto the shoreline with each wave. The heart stays open, the neck easy, the eyes calm. And when it feels good, maybe you interlace the hands and use the heels of the hands for that massage along the quad, along the outside edge of your IT band here, that very sensitive, tight muscle, or tight band of ligaments and tendons and fascia. Letting it all be easy. From there, you're going to release that and sit up nice and tall. This foot comes flat, the knee comes in. So remember, if you're breathing for 2, You're nice and open, lengthening. You can have the hand in front. It's about creating the space here. If it's just you in there, take this foot to the outside edge of the right leg, hug the knee in towards the chest to sit very tall, both hips flat to the ground, none of this. From here, nice and open, inhale. As you exhale, twist over the left side. Feeling the belly button go towards the spine. It's rinsing out like a rag. This is draining out the energy. You might even feel yourself break a little bit of a sweat. Twists tend to trigger the cooling response in the body. Final inhale. As you exhale, release to that. We'll take the open twist, nice and lengthened, nice and wide. Feeling that regal lift. And as you exhale, let yourself come back to center. Very easy. Foot comes back to its own side. Lengthen out both legs. Feeling that tall staff pose. Lengthening out of the heels, out of the hips into the earth. Feel that lift in the spine. And when you have that, hands reach out in front of you as far as you can. When you can't reach anymore, that's when you're allowed to soften over, being chill. So start to notice where there is a collapsing and where you can have a lengthening instead. You're looking to create space. Be intentional about it. So from here, you're going to gently roll on up to sit tall. You're going to cross in the ankles and take from the seated stance. You're coming to the hands and knees once more. So we'll clear that out once with all of that chaturanga through. Take a moment to cat and cow. And when you feel ready, you're going to tuck the toes, take the down dog. From the down dog, you're going to inhale, come forward to the plank. You can leave this out, or you can take the chaturanga, knees, chest, chin. Come to the upward dog. I feel like Ariel coming out of the water. As you exhale, hips up and back, nice and chill. So, from here, we're going to inhale, soften in the knees, start to pedal yourself back to the front of your mat. I want you to find a forward fold at the top. Be very chill. You're going to toe heel the feet outside of hip width apart, just to the edges of the mat either side. And you're going to hang out in that slightly wider forward fold. You can have a soft bend in the knees. Heels are melting. Crossing the elbows, hang out with that little side to side motion. Very easy. From here, release the hands. You're going to toe heel the feet back into hip width apart. Turn the toes to face in towards each other. Let the knees bend so they collapse in. And from here, you bow over, releasing them. You grab the elbows once more. Feel how this opens up a little bit more traction through the spine. You're not looking to pull or anything like that, but if you want to deepen it, you could interlace the hands at the nape of the neck. And I'm not pulling at all. I'm hugging my elbows in towards my temples, and it's giving me just that little bit of added length. My breath is open and free. I'm breathing into the back of my heart. And on an exhale, release my hands over, release the feet to parallel. You can take a block on this if you'd like. I like to have a block. I'm going to bend my left knee, straighten my right leg, plant my left hand on the block or on the earth in front of my face. Inhale, peel the right hand open towards the sky. So I'm wide across the chest, rolling my heart open, either side, breathing into this outside edge of my leg. And as I exhale, I'm going to switch sides, switch the bend, switch the knee, or switch the hand. Peeling open the left side. Growing long out of crown and tail, feeling that length, that axis of my twist. Let's take one more time each side. Peeling open. Big inhale. Inhale wide. Softening and through. Last one. Big inhale. Peeling open. Switching the bend. So my bend, the right knee is bent, left knee is straightened. Exhale, bow easy. Lose any blocks you've got. And from here, you're going to simply lower yourself onto the mat, coming to sit. And then I'm going to swing around and move my camera angle because you're actually coming to lay down on your back. You're hugging the knees into the chest nice and tight when you get there. And let's start to wind down, kiddos. Feeling our energy come to a close a little bit. So this is that point in the practice where I encourage you to be free to go off the beaten path. If something strikes you as something your body needs, take it, but be mindful when you do. So let yourself settle in. I'm hugging the knees into my chest. I'm rolling this around. It's massaging my low back on the earth. Feels so good. So I want to sync up the breath and the body before we wind down. It's going to create something very special. You might switch the directions here. I'm going to peek at the comments. Awesome. Oh, thank you so much. Good. Oh, I was making sure that wasn't a question or something. So, nice and easy. I want you to feel how the legs can relax into the hip sockets, how the hip sockets can relax to receive them. So place the hands right on the top of the knee. Then the feet are uncrossed, and let the weight of the legs fall away so the arms are straightened. I still have my collarbones really open, there's length in my neck. So inhale, fill the body with air. As you exhale, gently bring the knees close to you. So it's like you're pumping out the air. As you inhale, the weight of the legs pulls away. Exhale, drawing close. Take a few of these. Your own breath pace decides the movement. Softening the legs into the hips. From here, gently release the knees. The feet are flat on the floor. We're going to toe heel the feet outside of hip width apart. Flexing the ankles nice and strong. And then from there, let the knees fall, windshield wipering side to side. I want you to feel how the legs move with the hips, how the pelvis moves with the spine, how all of this is connected. I want you to feel how when you relax in the hips, you start to get a release all the way through the jaw and the neck. And when you're ready, both knees will fall over to the right side. So here's the deal. If your knees are sensitive, you leave this out. You hang out here, right here, and you be careful. But if you can handle more and it feels fine, I want you to take this front right foot and you're going to place it on top of the left knee. That added weight creates additional stretch through the front of the hip, through the waist. Feeling that ease, you'll get more release here if you relax across the chest here on that right side. And be chill. I'm actually going to lower my camera just a hair so you can see more of me, because you'll need it in a minute. All right. So, from here, you're going to gently release the foot off the knee. Give yourself a few windshield wipers side to side. You want to lose the memory of the first side before you really settle into the left side. So when both knees fall over to the left and it feels good, you can hang out here, or maybe the left foot goes on top of the right knee, allowing that extra stretch here across the front of the hip. Being very chill. Again, focusing on softening the space behind the jaw. We're about to do a full body scan meditation into our Shavasana, so we'll cover all these little spaces, all these places that you may not realize you're holding. But I want you to recognize that the body holds for a reason. When you're ready, you're going to release the foot off the knee. Give yourself a few windshield wipers side to side. So from here, let yourself come back to center. Feet are flat. Bring the knees back. Bring the right knee into the chest. Extend the left leg nice and long. Feel the weight of the leg into the earth. Relax with that hip socket. I want that dead weight. From here, you're going to roll out the ankle. Just getting the creaks and cracks out. You can switch directions. You're going to crunch the toes, flex and point. That's nice and chill. From here, take the leg across the body for an easy twist. Now be careful with this. Your spine is temperamental when it comes to twists. You make sure both shoulder blades stay on the earth. If the shoulder picks up, you've gone into a danger zone in the spine. Stay grounded. And if it feels good, you can make a little goal post with your right arm. I'm thinking of relaxing through the palms of my hands, through the soles of my feet, more of that. So when your body holds on to this tension, I want you to understand it's doing what it thinks it's supposed to be doing. Your body believes it's supposed to be at attention and aware all the time, and you're the one who taught it that, because you feel like everybody's watching all the time. So there's a beautiful surrender you can have with the body, where you allow it to simply be as it needs to be here and now. It's a lot easier from where you are now because we can't see you. And you should enjoy the ability to be simply as you are. So come back to center, nice and chill. I want you to bend the left knee, foot is flat. The right ankle goes across that thigh, so you've made a little figure 4, the number 4. From here, right hand goes between the legs. You're interlaced behind the left hamstring or over the left shin, and you're bringing the whole shape close to you. The elbow flares wide. This helps open the hip here. So I'm really focused again on the rectangle of my torso, 2 shoulders, 2 hips. That whole rectangular frame flat to the earth, keeping the breath moving through the body. little side-to-side rocks if I want to help open the shape. Being cautious and conscious. When it feels good, gently release this. Reach the right heel up towards the sky, lengthen out of the leg. I'm doing a little flexing, pointing, crunching my toes. You can't see it. And I'm going to shake out the leg like it's a dead bug. And then let's take the other side. Left knee to the chest, right leg long. Relaxed, heavy, dead weight there. Roll out the ankle for a moment, crunch the toes, give yourself some of that. So fun facts, the fascia connected in your feet and your toes are directly connected to your neck. So sometimes when you have this excess tension, you need to take time to roll out and open up your feet a little, wiggle those little piggies. From here, you're gonna bring this across the body for the twist. Again, goalpost here, both shoulder blades on the earth. I'm not trying to get crazy. I need to make sure I monitor and don't go too far into the twist. Part of having a strong yoga practice is cultivating a relationship of trust between the body and you. And if you do these things where you're not listening to the body and you push too far every time, the body will become resistant to any movement at all. It will become untrustworthy of you. It's like having a dog you can't communicate with. When you come back to center, I say dog, but maybe I mean significant other. Anyway, so roll out. I'm just kidding. Plant the foot. You're bent at this knee here on the right side. You're going to take the ankle across the thigh. And when you're ready, take the left hand between the legs, interlace the hamstring, elbows wide. Just draw the shape in here. So I'm using this leverage, the elbow against the knee. It's helping open the hip. This is the same as pigeon pose, basically, if you're a fan of pigeon pose, which I certainly am. When you hang out side to side, just releasing what's left in the hip. Soft through the jaw. And when that's all good, you release and plant the foot flat, lengthen out of the left heel up towards the sky, roll out the ankle, flex and point, shake out the limb, and begin to ask yourself for any final poses you might want. I'm a big fan of taking happy baby, knees are wide, grab a hold of the outside edge of the feet, feel the whole body compressed and widened into the earth. You might be here, you might like this, you might ruin it by stretching one leg versus the other, I don't know. Just begin to ask the body for what else it needs for the remainder of its practice before you come into Shavasana. So Shavasana, it's the pose that you came here for. It's the best pose of the whole class. It's corpse pose. It's just effortless, hanging out. It's nice and chill. If you'd like, you might take something called Supta Baddha Konasana, which is a fancy way to say lay on your back with your legs in butterfly. That's a direct translation. No, it's not. Okay, so you can have one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. Maybe you're here. Really up to you at any point if you want to change the situation. You are absolutely free to. I would love that for you. So settle in, I'm going to make my adjustments. So as we come into this final meditation, it's all about scanning through the body and getting rid of those final pieces of tension, those final places where you're holding on. So as you settle onto your mat, to make sure I look good, I want you to feel your breath. That will become the first thing that's apparent. The rise and fall of your chest, the cool inhale, the warm, soft exhale. I want you to feel in every exhale how you can melt into the earth, softening in all directions. Feeling that need to be at attention slip away. As we settle into our Shavasana, we will scan through the body, imagining a wave of relaxation coming over us. We'll start right at the top of the head, right at the crown. And almost like someone's cracked an egg on the top of your head, feel how relaxation starts to drip, relaxing all the muscles along the top of the head, along the scalp. Relaxing in the hair follicles, allowing the hairline to be easy. Softening across the forehead. Relaxing in the temples, the outer edges of the eyebrows, the inner edges of the eyebrows, the eyelids, the eyelashes, and relaxing behind the eyes, allowing the focus to be soft. Relaxation dripping into the cheekbones, dripping into the nostrils and down the nose, softening the upper lip, softening the bottom lip, relaxing through the jaw, the teeth, the gums, the tongue, the throat. Maybe you give the jaw a wiggle and allow it to reset. Allowing relaxation to drip around the ears, relaxing in front of the ears, behind the ears, inside the ears. Notice the ear's tendency to reach out for sound around you, and instead, can you allow the sound to come to you, to be received by you? Allow that to relax down the sides of the neck. Relaxation dripping down the spinal cord, washing between each vertebrae, each disc. Relaxation dripping down the sides of the neck, down into the shoulders. Relaxation dripping from the armpits down through the upper arms, rinsing out the elbows, inside and around them. Relaxing through the forearms, softening through the wrists, relaxing through the palms of the hands, through the backs of the hands, the spaces between the fingers. Relaxation dripping all the way out of the fingernails, of the fingertips, effortless releasing. Relaxation dripping down into the center of the chest, feeling across the collarbones, a softening in the heart space. Perhaps the breath becomes more spacious. Relaxing behind the shoulder blades, the back of the heart space. Feeling all the tension dripping out of the rib cage, softening the space between each rib, like warm honey dripping down through the organs, down through the core, softening all sides of the torso, allowing relaxation to drip into the hips, filling like a bowl, allowing well-being to overflow. Feel that moment when the pelvis fills with ease and relaxation drips down into the thighs, washing through the inner thighs, through the outer thighs, down the backs of the legs, down the fronts of the legs into the knee, softening around the knees, behind the knees, continuing relaxation dripping down the fronts of the shins, behind the shins, through the calves, into the ankles, softening through the heels, through the tops of the feet, through the bones of the feet, through the soles of the feet. Relaxation dripping all the way out through the toenails and the toe tips. Feeling all of that tension leaving the body, and all that remains is you, simply here, breathing in this effortless, relaxed state. Feel your true nature. This space of ease and effortlessness. We'll remain here for a few more moments, giving yourself time to be, recognizing that for these few moments you have nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, no one else or nothing else to be, but simply here, breathing at ease. And gently deepening your next inhale. Slowly bringing your awareness back into the space. Becoming aware of the four walls around you, the ceiling above you, and the floor rising up to meet you, to hold you and support you. And inviting movement back in by wiggling the fingers and toes. You'll let that soon grow into circles in the wrists and ankles. And the next thing you know, it becomes a big stretch in all directions. And you put your human suit back on. And very gently, you find your way to a fetal position lying on either side. You cradle the head with the lower arm. And take a moment to recognize how you feel now versus when you first came onto your mat. And thank yourself for every bit of that. It takes you showing up and doing the work in order to feel this way. So I want to thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had a wonderful flow. This will be the first of many, so I'll see you next week on Wednesday. If you want a little bit more from me, you can check me out on Instagram at MindfulMichael. I do tarot readings, birth chart readings. I've got a morning live show that I do there on weekday mornings. It's 15 minutes to start your day the Mindful Michael way. Join me for a cup of coffee. It's a little early for you Arizonans, but you'll manage. And it's always saved to my page, so you can check it out later. Disney Flower, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you guys for joining me. Let's see what's going on. We have a full moon tonight, so if you're wanting to find out things that are involved with that, you should go to my website, mindful-michael.com, and check out my newsletter. And also, regarding Breakout Studios, you guys, you'll find donation links below. Be sure to check out all the amazing classes that are happening. Todd Wilson is like my hero and my mentor and just such a lovely soul, and he picks quality only, honey. So you're sure to find wonderful instructors and wonderful classes. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Peace and love from New York City, y'all, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Take care. Thanks again. Thank you so much, Todd, and yeah. Namaste, y'all. You are light, you are love, you are meant to be here. Things you need to remember every time. Love you all.